Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mantalk.ke. Thanks for coming back this week. Thanks for following on all the socials and on YouTube and the podcast platforms. We have a very exciting episode today, but before we get there, we are back in Kofisi. We're on Riverside Drive, Keystone Park. We're in the knowledge room where you can hold boardroom meetings. There's lots of literature on the walls. It's a great place if you're an individual and you want somewhere to work and network. And if you're a company, you want a small office, that's available too. So the link is down below on all the platforms. Check it out and you might bump into us when you're here. Oscar, what do you think, buddy?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, old and young, I am pleased to bring to you finally for this episode on the love in the 254, as you can read under the caption. Nviiri the Storyteller himself. I will not continue. I cannot. It is not in my power. Sir, please introduce yourself to the world.
I don't think it's in your power, but in your vocal range. Nviiri, baby, the storyteller. Yeah. Yo, I'm Nviiri the Storyteller, Universal Charger, Striker number 9, Bwana Nikita, Bwana Sherehe, and gari ingine, Natural Viagra.
Natural Viagra in the set. As usual, you know that this, Bwana Tembe. As usual, Nviiri, we usually do Love in the 254 each and every season. Because we are eagerly trying to find Eli a wife. He has hit 30.
That was not on the script, guys. That was
he has hit 30 and we are seeing that he continues to undergo continuous character development.
Well, you chose the wrong person.
And after doing a review of your music, we realized that Nviiri might be the professor of love. Daktari wa mapenzi.
I'm Jakose. I'm the principal of School of Heartbreak, and at the end of the whole session, you must come out a very clean person, ready to conquer the relationship world and get into something healthy.
I hear you. And to take on this city that you famously
sang about. So I got you.
Yes. You know, he told us about Nairobi. Yule anakupea.
Iwe funzo.
So I'll just kick it off with the first question as well. Obviously Mantalk is about men, and it's about kind of changing the narrative and the view that the world has about Black and African men specifically. So I just wanted to hear, what is a favorite thing about you being a man? What is your favorite thing about being a man? What do you enjoy most about your manhood? And why?
I think in a very traditional way, I consider myself a provider and a protector. So, and honestly, I love serving and I love helping people. I love people around me smiling. So I think that has been the best part. And it's we've got it also in today's world. We have women who do that also, you know. And now I've gotten to a point where it's not such a big deal now. It's just a tuko, you know. I don't really see that division because anyone can do anything. But growing up, I've always just wanted to be that, being the provider and protector.
Fantastic answer, and we see it.
There's a reel that our listener put out where Oscar said that women are becoming the men that they wanted to marry. So that kind of speaks to your point about now you're seeing you still want to do it, but they're very competent and capable to do it themselves. That kind of mindset normally comes from the kind of upbringing and the role models you would have seen growing up. So to understand you now, we like to start at the beginning. About your in the beginning. We like to go there and find out, like, how was your upbringing, because that would inform how you look at the world, how the perspective of providing comes about. So what was the young Nviiri like? Walk us through that.
I think I've grown up just being very, very like a free spirit. I've always explored anything and everything. And luckily I've had parents who also supported that. And they kind of exposed me to a lot of things from my young age in terms of education. There's no time, you see how parents can lie to you that if you go this way, there's a snake that will bite you. Ukipita huko ni vita. Military training, so there's that military upbringing, and with that also it made room for us to explore a lot. Tulikuwa, of course, tumekuwa rebels, but growing up naona yenyewe it was all for a good cause, because eventually I've come to understand what we were being taught.
What was your educational system like? Where did you start off school, and how has that contributed to your music and to who you are today?
I believe everyone akiwa high school ni msanii. Every single person, because I remember it from one coming back home during a break. Nikapata my brother who was in another school, my older brother, pia alikuwa msanii. But I saw that I wrote a song. I also wrote a song. Go to my neighbor's place, I have a song. So with that environment, pia nikajoin drama and music. So that kind of pushed me towards music. I didn't know I was passionate about it until I started writing. I started writing way back. And nikasema mimi nataka kufanya vitu zingine. I'm a very technical person. I wanted to pursue engineering. So in muziki, since I write a lot and express myself a lot through writing, I can get people to sing it. So me thinking that way, clearly si kila mtu akona vocal range. Shots fired. Nikamwa, I might as well just sing them myself because I know how best to express myself. And that is how I found myself in music.
What was the first song that you wrote? I'm very curious.
Wow. Would I even know?
Or the topic of it?
Yeah, I wrote a lot. Mostly they were just about love.
Yeah, of course. There we go.
Nilikuwa napitia. I don't know. Some operas. I don't know why, but you know, when you live under your parents' rules, I came up with soap opera pia uko tu hapo. So I found myself watching them.
Don't lie that your heartbreaks are coming from soap operas. You're there. When Alejandro is hurting with Alejandro, then you wrote music. Tell me the truth.
Me, I'm an empath. I'm an empath. So see that? Mbona Alejandro hapo, so I write about that.
No. Who hurt you from one, Nviiri? I'm an empath. I'm an empath, guys. Just know there is nonsense. After that,
who hurt you?
This guy. So like, okay, so
but mostly with the telenovelas, it was the music, because I found myself singing those soundtracks over and over, even in school. Even today you can see a bit of that influence in my music. There's a Latin feel to the guitars and nini. Pombe sigara.
The opening is
najua kuna tafuta.
Even kitenge.
I almost asked you which video have you been listening to?
No, listen. Don't test me. On my very knowledge now. Don't test me. Don't make me break it out right now.
Forgive me for that.
Don't test me, especially
you get a free pass to my next event.
Let me tell you. Pombe sigara though. I don't think we've ever felt more seen as men in Nairobi. Pombe sigara. We can leave it. We can leave the alcohol. So the song goes, alcohol and cigarettes, we can leave those behind without a struggle.
Yes.
But the women,
Lana.
It's a curse. We have been cursed. So Nviiri, at what point did you realize that women in your life are a curse?
Well, that's a very good question. I think when I wrote the song, when you know that moment where you try to just work on yourself, trying to, do you.
It was very introspective.
Usually it's after heartbreak. That's when you decide to be a changed man. But then a day or two, you bump into someone else, you're like, takes two.
You're willing to roll the dice again. Okay, let's take it back.
It's a risk that we're willing to take. Tutaendelea tu nayo. Nilishindwa kusema to hell with love. No,
You continue.
Tuko tu. Now you live, you learn, you move better.
Ni kuoga na kurudi soko.
So
let's dial it back because we've moved slightly ahead. So let's talk about getting into music now mainstream, like leaving behind your formal education and going into the creative economy and into the creative industry. How was that journey for you, and how did you get to that point?
Well, I knew I definitely wanted to do music at some point in my life as a career, but I also knew it doesn't just come on a silver platter. So I had to do a lot of other things to finance my music, to just take care of other things in my life. Just keep the ball rolling. So I believe that everything I did to this point led me to who I am today. Because at some point I did video production and editing. I've worked in an entertainment company. So I used to visit a lot of big gigs. I've been with entertainers. A lot of entertainers, I know them as a videographer. And some of their phones have been saved as Nviiri editor.
Oh,
Wow. I won't say who, but
things change.
Go change it. So from that to now, me being in front of the camera, I've learned now how to maneuver around what works, what does not work. I take part in my own music videos, in conceptualizing, and I can say now that I even have an eye for production as a whole. Which actually makes someone a better artist.
So one thing I'm always curious about when I speak to artists is we talked about drawing inspiration from Alejandro, right? But there's when we talk about
it is stuck there, Alejandro.
It's stuck there.
Now it's Alejandro. Caption: Who gets inspired by Alejandro?
But like for you to kind of write the kind of songs that you do, it means you have a very good relationship with your emotions.
Yes.
And sometimes we find that guys don't have that kind of skill. And let's say, I don't know who your group of friends were, let's say they all went into corporate places where they don't exercise that muscle of being in touch with their emotions. How did you like get that connection from mind to now being creative and being vulnerable on tracks and say how you actually really feel? Because a lot of guys struggle with that. Did you struggle? And if not, how did you navigate that?
Of course, the struggle is in expressing yourself. And you might think that you're expressing yourself, but you're just talking to yourself and not to other people. So the trick now is to express yourself, but in a way that it applies to many and it speaks to other people. So when writing, it's mostly just you're addressing people, not just yourself. That's the first thing, because I know in my writing, Ben is the one who used to tell me that stop being so smart in your writing, because in all my songs, Double Entendre, if you listen to them, if I overdose, hapo nyuma ume overload, umetosha gari ligi yako ni 4x4. So I'm talking about cars, since I love cars. But I'm talking about a lady. But we have songs like, now after that conversation is when I did most of the songs in Kitenge, which was like also my Wendy. Okay, I had done it way back, but it's me not trying to be smart. It's just being a genuine person, and there's a lot of power in also being genuine. So that came to a point where I made a decision. I'll be honest with myself. I'll express myself, and also at the same time be open-minded and see the bigger picture. You might be thinking this is the cause of let's say a heartbreak. But people go through different reasons to go through a heartbreak. So you sing about heartbreak, address it to the public, and at the end of the day, if you have a solution, why not?
The other thing I also wanted to like kind of touch on was your emotional intelligence. Because whenever I listen to your music, that's the first thing that jumps out to me. That you're very much not just vulnerable, but there's an emotional intelligence to how you write and to your lyrics. What do you think has contributed most to that? Like, how are you so capable of empathizing? Because you said you're an empath, and I laughed. But when I think about it, it's really true. Like, I can hear it in your music that you can step into kind of the emotional situation of a lot of young people in Nairobi. And what do you think has contributed to you being able to do that?
I think failing over and over until that gets you to a point where you start viewing life in a different way. Like, it's not just about you, it's about other people. So there's always two sides of a coin, so life can go either way. And that helps you not to be really uptight, man is as good as a constant thing in a man is a change. So I decided that I should be open to change. And as much as I'm open to change, also I stand firm. I'm grounded somewhere. I have my beliefs and their lines I don't cross. So that has made it easier to express myself and also just to stand my ground. Because by the time I'm telling you something, most of it is from my own interpretation of it and my beliefs. And probably even from my past.
So like on the back of the empath thing, if there's young guys that kind of listen to your music and they connect, but then it kind of stops there, it doesn't carry on in their life. So they'll hear a heartbreak song, I feel that he sees me, but then they go back into the world of like that hard shell. How would you advise, say, a 13, 14-year-old, how to remove that shell in like normal everyday? Because a song is 3 minutes, but then after they felt that connection, they go and they're back into their shell. How would you advise?
I think just the fact that a song can take you somewhere, that tells you can always change your emotions. Yeah, so I apply that in my life. If I want to feel hyped up, that's why I commended you for the playlist early on when we started. Because we needed to start on a high note. If you'd been playing some sad stuff right here, this vibe would have been so different. Or even if you were playing, let's say, trap, drill, then they would have been here just,
the energy would be
would be something else. So just knowing that our energies can be shifted based on our environment. So you protect yourself by changing environment.
I hear that. I want to take it to now something that you sing a lot about, which is love, and kind of the crux of today's episode. So how does Nviiri conceptualize love? And how do you express that concept through your music?
Well, love for me, I think, is everything, from compromise to sacrifice and not being rigid. Because today you'll say you love Jabba. Maybe tomorrow you don't. You might say you love whiskey, you don't. They'll say maybe I want someone who's funny, then you outgrow that stage in your life. So I think that having that open mind just to know how something shifts and just staying grounded, then you can express love better that way. So love starts with me, honestly. Me as long as I'm comfortable with myself, then I'm in a position to give.
What was your example like in the house growing up when seeing love? Because the first interaction you have with love is normally your parents.
At home,
So how was that? What were you seeing when you were growing up as love?
The loyalty, that family thing. We would just decide as a whole family, let's leave this place. Maybe we're at some gathering and it's not a vibe. We can just decide as a family, let's leave. I'd see my parents, they'll always have that coordination. They're in their own world. And that's how even we got exposed to now a lot of the real world. Like this doesn't work because of this. This doesn't work because of this. There's no cutting corners. So after I saw that, when we're in the real world and we're hanging out, I'd see what my mom is seeing. Her translation of something. Unaona hapa. And I think most of us went through it as with African upbringing. Ile, your mom just looks at you. Something like, okay, now this is the funny side of it, where you visit someone, your mom fed you at home. Definitely,
oh my God.
She does that so that you don't show any sign of hunger on the other side. But so when you're there, this is now it comes back to discipline. Yes, you want to taste that because you've never tasted it before, but your approach will be different. Utakuwa na njaa, utakuwa nini. It applies in very many things. But me seeing that, it even became fun. Since in my beshte, we're all friends.
It's something you can play around with also. Even and it's also expressive.
It becomes funny.
That playfulness is also in your music. You can tell you're having fun with how you write.
My mom would punish me and I'm laughing. She's like, yo, stop laughing. And she's also laughing, stop laughing. It was crazy.
Fantastic. All right, let me take it up a notch as well. Well, let's talk about how you maintain love and relationships, the maintenance part of like love and relationships, because you're so busy and you have a schedule and you have to run a successful career, you have to drive your own goals. How do you make the people around you feel that, that care and that love that you have for them, whether it's the people in a relationship with or your friends and your family? How do you maintain the relationships, the love that you express through your music?
First you just have to be rational. As much as we're talking about feelings, you have to know when someone needs to work, when someone needs to take a break. You just now you get to know a different person during this whole changes in life. Like for me, after I became an artist, it became a bit difficult, especially with my mom, because I was no longer available. But now she has gotten to a point where she understands it, and also I just had to be open about it. You don't hold back. You don't hold back such vital information. There's like a level of honesty that is expressed, and with that, follows also with respect. It cannot come without respect. So once you respect that, and you find compromise in between, I mean, yeah, if you want it that bad, then you do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things I always hear from people that have been in successful relationships for a long period of time. The one where there's always compromise from both sides.
Yeah.
So Mantalk as a platform, right? One of the main things we pride ourselves on doing is letting men and women have conversation and try to understand each other more. Obviously, love is the pinnacle of that, but even in just platonic and friendships.
Yeah.
So if you were to be able to speak to just all the women in the world on behalf of all the men in the world, what's one thing you wish women knew about men that's not talked about enough?
Hey, we have feelings.
Preach.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Thugs need hugs.
That's so true.
And that's why there are a lot of memes going around when he's not with his boys. You guys laugh like it's funny, but we also love being taken care of. We take care as much as I see myself as a provider and protector. If I get a reciprocate of that whole thing, it slaps different.
Yeah, I hear that.
Oh,
what would you say? What would you say to all the women in the world if you could tell them something about men?
You guys.
We are single.
Come on, guys. Come on, let's go there.
Thugs need hugs is one for sure.
That's solid. Yeah.
That's a solid one. But I think the thing about men that I don't think women know a lot about is that we have open and honest discussions, just like we're having right now, about love, life, and social situations. I think a lot of women feel like we're just these rigid characters. Like, oh my God, Oscar is so corporate. Like, he's working a corporate job. He's also running a podcast. He doesn't have time to have vibes, fun, and talk about life. Actually, no. The more balanced I am as a man, the more I have to give in each and every situation I'm in. Kind of like he said, there has to be respect and there has to be boundaries, but there also has to be like love and the expression of that and a maintenance of the situation. I think that's the one thing I'd say. What about you, Eli?
There it is, tennis. I would say, okay, this is not something that it's come from. It's something I heard. It was actually Trevor Noah that said that, and I was like, I've never heard it articulated so well. He said that sometimes the perception of men that we always want to go and have intimacy with ladies doesn't come from a place of wanting to have that intimacy. It's a case that they only find. You saw that. Yeah. When he said it, I was like, that's so true. So basically, a lot of the time, I'll just use the word. So basically, sex for guys is normally their go-to for intimacy because in every other aspect of their life, they don't experience that intimacy. So they go there and they just stay there because afterwards there's cuddles, and you don't get that elsewhere. You don't get like long hugs from like women unless it's that. So that's one thing I wish.
I can give you a good example. There's if you find a lot of Kenyans who have traveled to places like Uganda and Dar es Salaam, and the reception, it slaps different from when they're here in Kenya.
Really? How
you know, they still have the ujamaa with them. They're still cultured. So they're really they're modest.
Right. Yeah.
But in Nairobi, sisi wote ni wajanja. Which is true, and it's, I think it's a protective mechanism because now Nairobi has a lot going on. You know, if you try to say hi, what's your intention? You get so you get that from the word go. But also if you ignore that feeling, things might go sideways in Nairobi. But I've been to other places where you can say hello and someone takes their time to listen to you.
That's actually
until so that's the difference. But
because you know what you're referring to is it's a social cost for the system of economics that we run. So for those who are watching at home and who are listening at home, the difference between Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya is that there's also, especially in Tanzania, they use a socialist system of economics.
Yes.
And they're only now trying to turn the system into a capitalist economy. Kenya, because of its colonial history, has been a capitalist economy through and through. So for us, we're always kind of looking, what do we gain? It's a give and take relationship.
It is.
Whereas in Tanzania, it's like, oh, thank you so much for contributing to me in this way. And they do a lot expecting nothing in return. So there's a deep, like there are deeper bonds, deeper social bonds in a sense, as much as it's come at an economic cost because they're a bit behind when it comes to their economic growth, but they're catching up now. Kenyans might be suffering from, if you're not giving me anything, I don't really care.
I think that's why it kind of puzzled me, the fact that every guy in our group noticed that. That meant like that is something they've been looking for, but they don't see it every day. So they appreciate it. Then we're back to business, guys. Tumejikubali, hatuna shida. This is who we are.
Powerful.
The guys in your group, right? I want to touch on that because when we've had Bien and Fancy Things on here, they've talked about the brotherhood that they've created with Soul Generation, which you're a part of. Like being a room full of male artists that all have that connection with love. What have you learned from like that brotherhood that maybe other guys who are corporate, so to speak, don't maybe get to interact with? So what have you learned from those brothers?
Musikue personal. Yeah, it's never that personal, honestly. If you have an issue, you just sort it right there and then and we move on. The moment you start cutting corners and hiding things from each other is when we call a spade a spade. We correct each other in our songwriting, in our daily life. We check each other. And the moment you have someone who can check you in real life, then that's a proper bond. I wouldn't want to be around people who are just, kissing my
self-censor. I love it.
It's a brotherhood is meant to correct. You're meant to correct each other and correct itself and push yourself towards greatness in a sense.
And it has somehow pushed us because we also apply the same things we teach each other. We apply them in life, and you can see something work for someone, and you tell yourself, now I gotta step up because the concept works. So we always have each other's back. If something comes up and I feel like I've learned something, we're always fast to sharing. Very easy. That's why it's easy for when you go through our music, you'll find my song is co-written by so and so, produced by this. It's just
it's a collaborative framework. Are you looking for trouble? In that sense. Right, okay, I'll take it to another place now. Because you call yourself the principal of the School of Heartbreak.
In flesh and
why that? What inspired you to get to that place where you're like, heartbreak is something that a lot of men go through, or not men, but a lot of society kind of goes through, and like, why did you make that one of the defining things about your brand?
Well, it's just because growing up you go through tumeona heartbreaks hapa nje. From kunyimwa gift to how your friend decides now to start hanging out with these other friends, to even our job space, workspaces, now into relationships, to Mezionona. And, unless you learn from these experiences, because funny thing about the world is like, there's nothing new. There's just a continuous curve. So if you don't learn at this point, it will definitely hit you at some point. So by the time I was opening the school, it's just, just when people are thinking I'd go through a heartbreak, I had gotten to a point where I've learned how to handle it. It's not such a big deal. Of course, there's a sad moment and the pain, but it's normal. But the growth at that point was so different. It didn't really take a toll on me. Didn't do much, and I thought about how people get depressed. People are suicidal. People become violent. And it can be easily fixed without all that. And the fact that growing and learning all these things made me get out of it that fast. I figured, okay, that's definitely the way to go. And I remember I was sharing a lot of memes. I was making fun about almost a lot of things because I found my peace in comedy, in life itself. I was just exploring, just feeling myself. I was reading a lot, just working on me because I was telling myself, someone comes to you because they've seen something in you.
Yeah.
You get. So unless I have that something in me, you have no right to demand any sort of love or attention or anything. You need to build something that people see. And that's just how the universe works. By the time we sit here, we're all gaining.
Exactly.
So just be smart about it and think about you kwanza. Before you put that pressure on another human being. I mean, everyone is going through something else in their life. So ni kuoga tu na kurudi soko. In short, hakuna kusimp, there's no nothing. It's just we're facing it in a very technical way.
I hear that.
Just make your peace. This is how it is, you know. And but the bigger picture also is I'm coming up with a game show.
No way.
Yeah, TV game show with unajua Nairobi tunapitia. So and it's a very funny thing. The word Nairobi, it's a culture by itself. So
it's, in many ways, it's a culture you created, no? Especially with the song Nairobi. I feel like you highlighted a lot about you and Benzol, and what really made, and I think Bian was on Major was on that track as well, where one of the scenes that really got me is where Benzol is in a bucket being washed. It was so like
that's how we actually look at it. It's a sad thing, but you can come and tell us how a situation went. Maybe you stood up or something, and it's funny. It's funny, but we'll make it funny. So that you don't also sit there and cry. We'll cry with you. These things happen.
It's fine. It was such a that video when I watched it. I was like, these guys get us so much. And then it's that thing where you're sitting with your boys and someone's like, oh, that's why that time when she came to me she was smelling like you. That's why that time when I was seeing it on TV.
We're addressing things that happen.
Things that are then the bartender is the one who will constantly say like, because you all drink at the same spot, so you'll show her place you're comfortable. So the bartender is constantly buying drinks for she was here last week with this guy. Now she's here this week with this other guy.
Kwanza the bar. I remember we were making a joke that it should be a crime for a hostess or anyone, maybe in a hotel, to say umerudi tena.
You're back.
Once you do that, you should be arrested.
Or someone pulls up at the Manhattan and you're seeing her phone, her Wi-Fi is connected automatically. Make it make sense. How's that?
It's my first time going. This sounds personal.
No, sorry.
Manhattan of all places, and Wi-Fi.
When I said Manhattan, Manhattan, it's because I know that Manhattan has been opened by Soul Generation, and so I have to plug it in because I'm a friend of the brand. See how you
smart man.
I'm also an empath. Next question, just to move on. I just want to say thank you, Nviiri, before kind of as we move towards close, for bringing that fresh perspective and that fresh voice into your music. Because like, I won't lie, first time I heard your music, I was like, how Nairobi is this guy? Like this guy, because the first time I ever heard your music, I'll be honest, was Pombe Sigara. And when I heard it, I was like, and even where you shot it and the visuals, creative element behind your music.
And even every fest that was there, it was the entire Nairobi.
It was all Nairobi. I was just looking, I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about. Like you really have your finger kind of on the pulse of culture in Nairobi and in Kenya actually and beyond. And I just wanted to kind of give you your flowers as a man for being such like a musician. And a technician in your music and how you write and how you make music feel and kind of just the cultural feel to your music, man. I really, really, really like vibe with it. I don't know if it's that brotherhood, a result of working with that collaborative framework with Kina Bien, Kina Savara, Fancy Fingers and his fantastic ear for music. And Shimano, of course. I don't know if it's working within that context that's brought out such a higher, deeper version of you in terms of your music. But I just wanted to like tell you thank you. And thank you for coming and for taking the time to kind of vibe with us and give us your insights. I'll be looking forward to your Heartbreak TV show.
How much did you want to ask me for?
I'll be looking forward to it. I'll be looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. That was deep. I appreciate.
We'll be really looking forward to it, dog. So thank you so much for coming, man.
Before we close, we've sort of dwelt on who you are now, and where you came from. But I want to know, so that when we look back in a few years, we say, hey, you said it on Mantalk. What's the dream for you in your music career and for Soul Generation?
That is very, very good. I thought you'd never ask. So now, first and foremost, thanks to all of you guys being part of my story and my journey. It has made it easier, and also the reason why I'm doing a lot more, just to make sure that I keep the good vibes and energy and music up there. I've seen how our system works. We have the dope culture, discipline, order, passion, and excellence, or rather endurance. So with that system that has worked, I've applied it. I now have my team. I have my own company. I just won the top 40 and the 40 the other day. Nice. Yeah, I've been featured on Vogue already.
Jeez. Yeah, we saw that. I believe there was someone assisting those visuals. I don't know. It was collaborative.
I have my visual director, Maisha Rath.
Kazi Safi.
They're the ones who are doing my styling. Come on, Soul Fest. But I've come to a point where I've seen potential in teamwork. So I've incorporated a lot of that. So in the future, you'll be seeing a lot of collaborations in even my styling right now. This is all Kenyan brands. I've figured out how to work with local people and who are really good. It would be dumb of us not to see that. Then you have foreigners coming here and working with them. So I'm planning on traveling a lot. Amazing. I say that about this year, and I did that, and it opened my mind. That's how I ended up doing my album. I'm releasing an album next year, March.
Hey,
amen.
Yes,
amazing.
So that I saw the impact of traveling, and now next year is just that. And you see, we've been seeing a lot of foreign acts flying in, just also either for a session, media tour, and it's just the same system. Why don't we go and do the same thing over there? So I have a couple of countries in mind. I have South Africa, I have Nigeria, then we have States, UK. Nice. In whichever order, and just to explore. Because if you want to be an international act, there are things you need to learn. Here in Kenya, there's this much we see, and I shall not stop there. I can't be satisfied with that. We have to see the bigger picture, and also just to make a bigger impact. Because if I need to reach you in the UK, my music needs to reach there. How do Kenyans in the UK listen to my music? So I have to make sure it gets to them. So I shall physically export my music.
There's something Will Smith said that Arnold told him when he was growing up in the industry. He said, if you want to be a global star, you have to go to those places and touch those people and interact on small level and big level. So we're excited to see where that goes. We have a tradition on the show, a parting shot. Oscar.
Yeah, please. Nviiri the Storyteller. Natural Viagra Mavendo Medita. What is one piece of content? Where it can be a book, a film, a movie, a song, that has resonated with you the most, that you'd like to share for the rest of our audience?
In terms of a book, it would be Outliers.
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yes, I've actually gone through now a couple of his books also. Hey, crazy.
He's my favorite author.
There's another one. Is it The Mind of Mentors or something Mentors? It's just they've interviewed all the top and successful guys, and they've asked them all those questions. What are your regrets? What are your downs? What are your what? So it just follows. It's like a law book, and you can see a consistency in what they're doing. These are some of the things that have shaped me to be able to handle a team. I have a very big team. I have from my stylists who I'm with all the time, my manager, I have my security guys. I have now I'm now integrating with also other artists like dancers, producers. If I pull up. But all this is just to have a good quality of production at the end of the day. So books, those are the books. And in terms of music, my own album really shaped me. So it's called Inside Out. Najijua Inside Out. Yeah, so I'd recommend you wait for it up on March. But for those of you who had the opportunity to have an exclusive listening, like you, I'll be planning to have a listening party. So for those of you who can't wait till March, I'll definitely do something for you and you get to learn. Yeah, but that is something you should definitely look out for. And you will learn from it. Best believe. I've poured it all in there.
Amazing. And Nviiri, thank you so much for spending your time with us. Thank you for making us have amazing memories at concerts. We were shooting this just shortly after Soulfest and we danced. We had a fantastic time. So thank you for bringing that kind of joy.
I danced.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, man. So thank you for, because it's a special moment when you get to enjoy with friends and you're part of that. So thank you.
Thank you very much for
before you close, before you wrap, wait, hold on. Beryl, would you like to ask Mr. Nviiri a question before we release?
What's your greatest fear?
She said, "What's your greatest fear?" For
My greatest fear is not being able to grow. Anytime I have a writer's block, anytime I feel like I'm stagnant, you'll see it in my face. It's bad. So I constantly just try to learn something new. I pick up on everything around me because like I told you, it bounces back to your future.
100%.
So even this connection right now, it might apply to the future, to my future someplace, or even mine to yours. So that is growth. Me, the fact that I'm here and I've hung out with you guys, there's something new that we're creating. That is growth. I'm never just stagnant. Even just the thought of it, guys.
Even crisping in the chair.
You see all happened.
Victor.
What motivates you to wake up in the morning every day to keep doing what you're doing?
For the mics, what motivates you to wake up in the morning and do what you do every day?
I love life. Just waking up itself is such a success.
It's a blessing.
It's just like you put it to good use. I have my moments where I'm still, where I just have it to myself, but just the fact that there's always something new every day. I wake up wondering, hey, okay, what do you have today? It's somewhat interesting. It keeps you going.
Fantastic. You've had it from Mantalk. I hope you enjoyed this podcast
half as much
as we enjoy making it,
because we had a ball.
Goodbye.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Peace.
Cheers.